Good morning. So, what's happening? It's all the news about monsoon everywhere, and of course, the way US is striking on Iran, it's all happening in the world. India, largely, as I said, it's all about the. Read the newspapers. If I see the portals, the news is all about rains. It's about the US charges against the Indian crime gangs, and of course, the Prime Minister's Australia visit. So these are the news which are making rounds, largely across the world, across India, everywhere. But as we begin this, the India markets are on. It's almost 11:15 right now. So let's see what's happening in the Indian markets. Let's see where the Sensex and Nifty where they are cruising like. Okay. Uh, let's take a call on what is Sensex now, right now, and what is Nifty right now. So there is a good gain actually. And let me just share those screens of Sensex and Nifty, and I think we can take a call on that. So here we go. So Nifty has almost gained 139.10 points basically, and it's 0.57 percentage up, you can call it. It has reached, 136.60 right now. We're doing this real time. So yeah, it's 0.57%, 0.56 percentage, you can say, up. And it's basically on the value buying. That's what we learn from the market commentaries, which is coming from the experts and everybody. Let's take a look at Sensex. And while we see the Sensex, I'll have to share the screen of Sensex. Let me just share the screen of Sensex. So I'll just stop sharing the screen of Nifty and we'll take a call on Sensex. So what's happening with Sensex? Sensex is almost 76,998.05. It's 494.45 points up, which broke yesterday, and it's basically it opened up in a good manner and in a stable manner, and now it's going little down. It's 0.63 percentage up basically, and the same thing again on the value buying. I'll stop sharing the screen and we'll start talking about what's happening in the world, what's happening in India, what's there on the business front, what's there on the news from the technology and the digital currency or the digital assets area, what's happening in the entertainment space, of course, science and entertainment space, and finally, we'll take a call on the nitty gritties of the business. As we are talking during the market hours. So let me start sharing the screens with you, and here we go. I think the screens are not appearing right now. So let me again take a call on those screens, and here we go. The screens have appeared. So here we go. This is the world. We'll take a call on the world news basically. And what's buzzing in the world news? US hits 90 targets. New strikes on ongoing campaign includes rail bridges. So this is the news which is read largely across the world, most read news kind of a stuff. US hits Iran port. The Chabar port has been hit in the strike. US launches new airstrikes. Iran strikes back at Bahrain and Kuwait and Qatar. And Iran strikes back basically, while the US launches a fresh strike. Trump calls fresh strikes retribution for ship attacks. So what you attacked on the ship. So, again, the world is in the turmoil. And amid the turmoil, the oil prices are skyrocketing. And this will even hit the currencies, no doubt, because India currency yesterday, it almost closed at 95.55 kind of a thing. So what is he telling? He's begging for the deal. Trump shares video of 20 times bigger US strikes on Iran. That's what he's telling. Iran threat, which has been explained largely, Trump flew home an old Air Force One instead of the jet gifted by Qatar. So, these are the things which are being explained, what is happening because of the Iran threat. Khamenei funerals procession is on. Thousands are marching towards the funeral. They cross into Iraq. See, Iraq basically, the assets of Iraq are almost under the US kind of, what do you call, gold. All the oil money goes to the US Treasury, and in turn, it flows back to Iraq on the request, what is required, what is not required. Amidst that, Iraq has supported this as a kind of a state event. And thousands are going to this process. But no doubt about that. As I've always said, this is just not a funeral ceremony. It is more than funeral ceremony. It's a kind of a geopolitical stress test. Cities attacked in ships, on ships in latest escalation. The US conducts fresh airstrikes again on Iran. US travels data which has come, which is very slump because slumps under the rising fare and fuel expenses. So obviously this was expected. The quarter one has taken a hit, no doubt about that. And UN experts condemn the life sentence. They condemn the life sentence of the Baloch political activist in Pakistan. This is the news which is being read most in the world kind of space. IMF wants a sharp slowdown. That's what I've always been telling, that this war is a kind of a West Asia war is a kind of a plug and play model. And they are warning a sharp slump down across the world, warning on a global economy. So this is bound to happen. And there is some news about Meloni and Trump basically, and what that reads. Let's just read that because my image is coming in between my presence. Meloni's comment, Italy's Meloni says no regret over wooing Trump despite disagreements. This is what she has said. So I think this optics building exercise is on across the world, leaders and everybody. Let's take a call on what's happening in other space, basically in what's the news from India. So while we see the news from India, it's all about Prime Minister's Narendra Modi's visit to Australia, like the historic selfie with the Albanese PM. I mean, Anthony Albanese, the Australian PM, and how it's they are looking for the investments, bilateral ties. It's looking for basically trade pact and Australian dollar and 500 million investment into clean energy, and these are the areas they are talking. Early, the Amravati, that's on the local front, basically. The historic cooperation Modi calls for nuclear critical mineral ties. That's the news mainly coming from the Australian pack of the PM's visit to Australia. And Andhra capital is again in debate. Amravati versus Mavigan debate has started about the capital fault line. Which city has to be the capital? Equally, the rain, the news of rain everywhere now in north. Of course, in Delhi and Gurgaon, they have issued work from home warning. If you see the social media handles, a lot of user-generated content, is making rounds as to how the infrastructure has been. What is the state of infrastructure across in the cities where it is raining like cats and dogs? And people are literally, they are pushing beyond their limits to reach their workspace, or from workspace to home, or from home to workspace, or going out. How they are, how they are crossing those manholes on the roads which are filled with water. Some accidents are happening. So a lot of user generated content, even if the media is not speaking, I think a lot of user generated content is there on the social media, which is making round. If you see on X, you see on Facebook, you see on YouTube, all these places, a lot of user generated content is making rounds. You can see that. Biofuels in petrol, India edition faces a driver backlash. So now, I was going through this, even a lot of video are being shared on several social media platforms. There was a garage mechanic who was talking to one of the digital media platforms as to how the fuel pumps, are getting, affected by this ethanol and costly car fuel pumps, So this is becoming a debate now, and everybody is talking about it. Wednesday highlights police flags, court flags, police witness delays. This is what is happening over here. Economic boost, India jumps two ranks as FDI inflows rise by 44%. Equally, the world has been warning about the international investments. They are worried about the international investments. That is also the news. And if you see on the other side, the assassination plot of the US charges Indian crime leaders and Sikh activist case. So extortion plot has been surfaced because AAP government under threat after FBI names Punjab inspector. Jail reforms, US seeks extradition of jail gangsters. So this is what is happening. And while Modi is visiting Australia, this news is coming of, how US is playing a hardball with the gangs. So somewhere, this messaging is going very clear that whenever there is some kind of a push happening from the country on the economic front or somewhere on the bilateral tie front, going away from America, pushing towards other allies, US has some or the other thing to connect it, that what's happening with India. And that becomes a world headlines across. So no doubt about that. There is something big at a diplomatic level, a kind of a big diplomatic play, which we are not able to understand right now. But when we connect the dots, this is something which is happening. So I don't know how the India story would pan in this situation, this direction, how the US continues to, arm twist the situation every moment, be it on a case on a industrialist over here, or these US charges now against the gangsters. So, I mean, what is going to be the India image? That is a big question now from here. And what's going to be the India story is a big question now. You're balancing a very tightrope. That's a fact. Economic growth, World Bank vindicates, about the KCR vision and says KTR. That's how it is. So these are the news from India, largely from the international domain, from the national space, whatever is happening in India. Let's take a call on the other slides and let's cruise ahead. I mean, we did the world desk, we did the India desk. Now we talk about the business, which is my favorite subject. So yeah, pension shift EPS scheme, that has been an explainer. Sensex over 550 points opening is good, but it's scaling down slowly and gradually. Let's see how it maintains its momentum. Commodity surge, oil rises, renewed Middle East tensions, gold strengthens as the dollar rise. This was expected, no doubt about that. Stock to watch basically in July, that is being their Nalco Heritage Food. These are the stocks in focus largely today. India's 50 billion IPO at a risk. Trump and Iran ceasefire, newsletter insights, which reads about how the IPO, India's IPO market, I mean, 50 billion IPOs are at a risk. The Geo IPO is there. I mean, NSE IPO is there. These are the huge IPOs. 3 profitable cash-rich companies. This is being talked about. FOMC minutes, rate divider, Fed official split on the future interest rate direction. So this is something, the clarity is not coming even from that direction. Higher for longer, FOMC minutes signal sustained rate outlook. So I mean, the Trump's basic vision to hike the rates, Trump's basic, what do you call it, kind of genesis or pedagogy to raise the rates, and the governors not agreeing to it. Jerome Powell also did not agree to it. And here also, FOMC minutes signal, that it could be a sustained rate outlook. It can't be probably too high or too low kind of a thing. Trump-Iran strikes impact, market shake, Brent crude hits 2-week high. So no doubt about that. And Sensex Nifty plunged 2%. Trump's Iran remarks triggers fear, oil prices. We lost lots of money yesterday. And a lot of things is even making rounds on the social media content on that. There is a fantastic clip of a Hindi song which is being sung by one of the investors, Vijay Kedia. It's basically the song of Musafir Hu Yaro, but that has been dubbed into the Trader Hu Yaro and what I lose and what I gain and kind of thing. Worth watching on the X handle, basically. I think it's a proprietary, so we can't share it over here. That could probably attract some kind of copyright claim, so we don't want to risk that. India forces cheaper fuel, explaining the global oil glut scenario. So, they are saying that there could be a lot of global oil glut, flotilla cargo, countries not buying. And in that scenario, the oil could be cheap. That is the one way of looking at it. But because OPEC has said of raising the production, Saudi has cut the prices. So there is a possibility. That's a one side of the coin. But the other side of the story is if there is a 20% cut in your supplies, how the cheap oil is going to really be the issue. How the cheap oil or the glut is going to really help you is a big question. And small and mid caps, they are bleeding right now. That's the news on the business front. Let's see what's happening on other areas like. So we did the India desk, we did the business desk. Now we are going towards the tech and from the tech desk, what's happening on the digital currency front, tech front. iPhone Ultra launch on time. That's what is being read. Crypto overview. Bitcoin $60,000. $60K dollar mark. Stablecoin transforming finance. Samsung Z Fold 8 Watch 9 renders leak. The leaks are happening. New models. I don't know if the leaks are happening purposefully or the leaks, happen really the way they are the leaks. A lot of things are leaking these days before, it touches the market. So I think it's a kind of a strategy, a marketing strategy that, let's leak it. And then once it gets leaked, it becomes a hype, it becomes a trending point, a discussion point, and then, from there it picks up. US investigates visa fraud, Cognizant under US visa probe. Cognizant has been told to continue with its hexagonal logo by the Indian courts. Ex-boss vice president has been laid off. Ex-boss VP's layoff post, what they have said in that. IQ Z11 gets BIS certification. I'm using this phone. This is a fantastic phone, no doubt about that. I'm not endorsing the phone, but my experience, my user experience is good with IQ00, no doubt about that. 5 AirTag accessories. This is being talked about. India Central Bank backs the crypto ban. So they are telling, it's like we support this ban, no doubt about that. Because yesterday also we talked about that case which is there going on in the court. A lot of money has been transferred in the crypto, but the Indian laws under which the people are booked by the ED, they are before the crypto regime. So that's a kind of debate which is going even in the Indian courts. So I mean, yeah, in that situation, if Indian central banks are not backing the crypto ban, I think yeah, that makes a sense. Let's see what happens in that direction. Let's keep our eyes close to it and understand what's really going on over there. Uh, Entertainment desk. This is the news entertainment and science desk. If we see, it's a mix basically. NYT stands July 9 hits and answers. Assassin's Creed Black Flag PC settings guide. This is there on the gaming side. Alpha Day 6. Box office earnings have touched 75 crore mark. So it might enter 100 crore club. As I said, by this weekend. It's again raining and all that. So that might happen. Plastisphere paradox, plastics role in cleanup. This is a kind of edit piece. Neutrons are worth 1,000 words. That's again edit piece. Web reveals hidden heart of the centrus. This is again a scientific piece which needs to read. Rajesh Sharma hospitalized after the insect bite. And Nolan's new film. I mean, Nolan's The Odyssey meets the epic cast. So yeah, this is something what's happening on the entertainment space. I think this is the last slide we're talking about the entertainment. And from the weather desk, I mean, if you take a call on the... So let's see what's happening on the Gujarat desk in first place. So what's the news from Gujarat? On the crime and justice front, it's about Bishnoi gang's leader making extortion calls from the jail using WhatsApp. A leopard, 9-year-old killed in suspected leopard attack in Bhavnagar, and Bishnoi aides use WhatsApp from Gujarat jail to extort victims. That's the news which is coming in. Blast verdict. I mean, the Gujarat High Court has given the verdict for those 38 people, 38 who were, culprits of this blast, 2008 blast, which I had reported. It was a Saturday evening. I'm going to write some nice piece on that in Gujarati language. Of course, in all three languages, I'll try to write. I remember those things, how the mobile phone was not working. But amidst that, we reported. And how we reported, that's an interesting story. So I'll talk something on that. I'll write something on that. It is not a good memory, but my struggle to report amid when the mobile phones are not working. This could be something. This could. I mean, today you have internet and everything, but even if the internet goes wrong, what would happen? I mean, I was even once asked this question in one of the interviews that if everything is dead, phone lines, internet, these, that, how would you do that? So I said, I would try to go at the space and try to report it from there. But if the space is, let's say, this many kilometers, I said, I'll fly. So they said, then planes are not flying. I said, I'll go by road. How will you go by road? I said, I'll go by motorcycle. I might reach after 3 days, but after 3 days, I'll do the ground report. So this is what it is, all about journalism, how passionately you want to report it. Weather crisis, Surat floods are in news. Lots of social media content, I mean, user-generated content making rounds on how the Surat Municipal Corporation officials, how they're... a lot of businessmen and locals are talking to the Surat municipal officials. Their phone calls are being leaked. It's not leaked basically, but they are brought out in the public domain as to how they are careless about the situation. That's what is, and most of the people are blaming the local authorities for not managing or not doing the pre-monsoon work rightly or whatever it is. They say that a lot of barricading has been done, and that's the reason waterlogging has happened. It has happened at several places, malls, up to... There were some videos making round of Poda Mall. We don't verify it, and that's the reason we don't show it. That could be a copyright claim also on that, so we're not showing that. But there's been a mall named Podar Mall, and the water has been waterlogged in such a manner that up to 2 stories, 1 or 2 stories, the water is there. So ground floor plus 1, that's how the water level is there. And all the shops which are there of mobile phone accessories, computer accessories, whatever it is, have all been destroyed. So this weather is really playing a dangerous game with the human life, no doubt about it. And that's where I said, even if you are growing, if you are looking towards a growth, progress, whatever, you will have to balance the weather and, of course, the ecological conditions and the environment, no doubt about it. Amit Shah has spoken to the chief ministers to review the situation and assure the support. Several Gujarat districts on alert of flash flood. That's what it is. And government removes 20-meter length norm for fishing boats to avail diesel VAT relief. This is the news from the governance and development. Gujarat to unveil first data center policy to attract the investment that's happening today in Gujarat. Uh, we will try to connect it live if it's possible. If I'm going over there, and I will try to connect it live, no doubt about that. Gujarat's life expands with 7 new schools, and Gujarat's light expands with 7 new schools. That's how it is. That's the news. And consumers' consent not required for installation of smart meters. Ombudsman says this. And Gujarat begins formal planning for the Commonwealth Games. There is an explainer piece on why lions are attacking, why Gujarati villages are turning against the pride. This is there about the, the farmer protest against the power companies which are acquiring the land. So this is a kind of edit piece we can read. So this is all about the Gujarat and what's the news happening over there. Let's take a call on what's happening on the weather front. So from the weather desk, if we see the weather news is largely from across the world. How to grow ice plants. This talks about it. UK weather check-in. UK chill heat wave ends basically. So the cold starts. That's how it is. Ireland leaves work early. Rules for living work early during July heat blast has been confirmed. Bangladesh schools landslide. This is a news. Typhoon Maisak, floods and snakes. See, this is a very interesting piece. I read this, and in Kongzi, snakes escaped into the waters, and that includes king cobras. And people need to be rescued not just from the flood, but from the snakes as well. So this is a really interesting piece. You should search this typhoon, Maisak, and floods and snakes, and these kind of words on Google, and try to read this news. This is a very interesting piece to read. China's disaster response. China mounts all-out disaster response amid the extreme weather. UK heat wave sparks snake warning over rise of incidents. That's how it is. Typhoon Babi transportation has been disturbed. Typhoon Babi disrupting transportation across Taiwan. Even the sea-bound or the land-bound or the train-bound transportation has been completely affected because of Typhoon Babi in Taiwan and China, of course. And heatwave train cancellations, heatwave forecast foresees cancellations, travel on the midday, and there has been some climate extremes from other areas also. So this is all about the climate and weather. Now we take a call on the business area, on the business side, and what's happening on the business front. So let me just read this. I'll stop sharing. I'll take a market brief, and here we go. I'll just stop sharing this for a while, and we'll go on the other slide of market brief. So this is all about the markets. This is the market brief largely. Geopolitical macro shocks, U.S. Iran exchange strikes and Gulf energy markets jitter. Sensex posts bigger fall in 2 months. It's scaling today, but yesterday was a bad day, no doubt about that. Technology and sector shift. South Korea falls into bear market. AI bull market cools mid chip maker protests, and SpiceJet market share drops to 2.5%. Emerging markets and investment look. Investors repricing risk in multipolar world. Bond market short tested. European mergers and acquisition maintain a momentum and amid uncertainty. And if you see the quick market data, global medical device reprocessing market CAGR, it's growing at 8%. Zero trust market surge. Arab stock markets lose 13.7 billion. So this is a kind of things which are happening. The editorial insight, discipline, liquidity. When commodity volatility meets geopolitical brinkmanship, and the buy on the dip mentality becomes a liability. Investors must prioritize defensive allocation and a hard-nosed assessment of true value. The only strategy likely to survive is one built. I'll just read this. Is one built on extreme caution towards. I'll just take this slide again. On extreme caution towards high beta assets. So it's going to be a value play from here from now. Let's understand this. Let us take a call ahead on other areas, and while we read on other things. So what's your daily brief? If you see the daily brief, it's all about it's all about geopolitical shift, the West Asia tensions. The Trump warned Iran hit them hard again tonight. Iran launches retaliatory strikes, global economic tremors. Markets have gone down. They're almost, navigating on the negative zone. India navigating the crisis, domestic stability threat, inflationary risk is rising, FDI inflows ranking up, but the growth forecast cuts. So IMF has revised the growth forecast and everything. Almost all the regulatory agencies, the worldwide financial regulatory agencies and the financial powerhouses worldwide, as well as the brokerages. They have, kind of done a revision for the India growth story with this fresh kickoff of the West Asia war. I mean, I would call it a 2.0. That's how it is. School dropouts becomes ice cream billionaire. That's financial news. India central banks backs crypto ban. Samsung CEO's vision ahead of the Galaxy Unpacked, and that's the news which is happening. Editorial remark: adaptability is the currency. The era of predictable global stability is over. Volatility demands resilience and strategic balance into India's energy security. So, biggest thing which comes for the Asian countries is the energy security. So, this is the kind of, after your market brief, this is your daily brief, and let's take a call on what's happening with the world indices. So, world indices snapshot, if I take a look, you can see it from Americas, Europe, Asia Pacific, Middle East, India, Africa. This is about the data of yesterday, while the markets in US closed at 1:30, today 4:30. If you see the India Standard Time, the markets are open from Australia. So the Asian market data is going live and real, but this is what the global snapshot is. This is how it looks. You can see it in your own manner, how it is basically. Let's take a call as to what have been the reasons, the key metrics over here, what has been the reasons behind the play, what has been the key investment, the instrument sector for the commodities, for the equities, currency, fixed income, market money, fund market, digital assets, everything. So you can take a snapshot. This is all more explanatory, and this gives signals as to how it's going up, why it's going down, what are the primary drivers, what's the outlook for today. I'm not going into much detailing of that, but you can just cruise that as I keep this slide for a few seconds. Let's take a look at let's deep dive on the commodities front. So commodities, it's all about crude oil, natural gas, the precious metals pack, the base metals pack, the agriculture and livestock, of course. So this is a complete area, the global market drivers, the market sentiment, risk catalyst, outlook for the Q3. So this is what you can cruise through. Again, this will be there daily. And these slides I'll not go much into detailing because I want to wrap up this ASAP, in 20, 25 minutes, not neither too early nor too late. So this is how it is. Let me make it max 30 minutes. It's already 11:42. We started at 11:15. So in 30 minutes, I give you a complete market snap and what is happening in the world. That's the pack I want to look on and rest on, basically. So here we go from the commodities deep dive to the digital assets deep dive. The digital assets deep dive is largely on the Bitcoin, Ethereum, all these, basically the cryptocurrency. Same pattern, key protocol instruments, global market drivers, market sentiment, and risk and catalyst, basically Q4 2026 outlook. So that's a complete long-term outlook on that. You can read that at your ease, pause it and take your call and read this, what is happening in the world. The Dateline Gujarat or the hashtag DLG plus to dispatch tries to bring everything into one pack. If you see today's dispatch, I'll just, glide through and slide through the dispatch once I end this session. At the end, you can see what is there. It's everything in that. Everything is packed in that one dispatch. So India markets, key market performance, basically. Again, the same thing, daily momentum, key market driver, key performance market driver, market sentiment, and risk and catalyst. And there's an outlook given over here. So you can take a call on that as well. So it's a kind of projected S&P Sensex. Key events to watch are RBI policy. I'll just scale it at a little different level. RBI policy, global crude oil prices, US inflation data, and FII action. No doubt, buy on dips, sector-specific selection, hedge positions. So that's a strategy, basically. This is what they are deploying. Let's take a call on other areas. And while we cruise through India market review preview, again, it's the same thing. This is what it's talking about. And we take from here the business pulse. The business pulse largely is all about oil surges, the supply fears, crude prices soar 3 to 5% after Iran strike. Market mayhem fuel trumps Iran remark triggers Sensex Nifty sell-off over 2% now almost. Investor recalibrate risk amid the global Middle East. That's a global sentiment dense. Tech sector tensions, AI revolution and layoffs. Major tech firms shield jobs, citing AI-driven restructuring. And data sovereignty battle. China issues security alert on the Anthropic cloud code and citing backdrop risk, geopolitical tech war, growing concerns over China's restricting AI model access to other countries, including India. So this is also happening on the very different level. This is also another kind of a war which is happening. Editorial pulse, it talks largely on the business landscape is caught between the promise of AI and a fractured global order. Caution is essential. Markets are no longer following the conventional logic. Volatility is the new normal. That's what I've always been talking about. The volatility is the new normal. Strategic foresight, only those anticipating structural shift is energy and governance will survive. So, this has triggered a kind of a huge disorder. And this disorder is not being unplugged. It's plugged as and when required. It has become a kind of a plug and play model of disorder. So let's see how it scales further. Economic events and earnings which could impact the day today, the markets today, largely they are from Ireland, consumer price index. It's from Malaysia, the industrial production, Malaysia's monetary policy decision, Taiwan's foreign trade data, Mexico's consumer price index, United States weekly jobless claims, and United States existing home sales, United States natural gas storage report, and other corporate, earnings and calendar, WD company, WADFC, Platinum Group Metals Limited, Fast Retailing Company Limited, ATZ, INC, Non Technologies International. So hyper-local and sectoral pulse, India market tethered to global volatility, supply shocks. This is what we have already understood. E-commerce, Zepto raises massive funds, dominating B2C segment, and infrastructure, Ashok Leyland finds a relief in scrappage scheme, policy-driven demand. Concluding editorial remark, a kind of reactive economy. Data scrutinized for cracks, markets reward discipline, risk management, intelligence, stay liquid, stay informed, stay cyclical. Stay cynical, not cyclical, sorry. Stay cynical of guidance. Stay cynical of guidance. That's how the things are working in this direction. Let's take a call on brokerage vantage points. So what are the brokerage strategies today? What are they aiming at? It's all about sentiment, caution, geopolitical risk. Strategy has to be fresh, long positions only after indices show clear stabilization. Nifty 50 expected range 23,700, 24,150, support 23,800, 23,700. So let's see where Nifty is there today. It's almost 24,014. That's against the brokerage view and financial services range. So these are the areas you can just have a look at. And sectors and stocks in support: IT sector, financials, automobiles. These are the brokerage's top picks for the weekly credit Grameen Access, and Lodha developers. And equally on the global point, the market driver and events, global macro, crude spike, oil prices, how they're watching the barrel basically, and the Hormuz tensions, and they're watching the institutional liquid activity, that's FI activity, and the earnings season. So these are the three areas. FOMC meeting data is out, so that's also now kind of done thing for them. So after the vantage point, this is the dispatch which is talking about what all it's about. It's about the market volatility. It's about the dispatch today talks largely about the market volatility, the business pulse, the economic events, the brokerage vantage point, and a snapshot on that. So here I stop sharing the screen. I'll just go and let you cruise through the dispatch. So it will give you a fair idea as to what we are talking, and I'll share dispatch with you today. So here we go. I'll take this ahead. I'll scale this up in that manner that you can read the whole dispatch. And here we go. I'm just, these are the wires basically. So I'll let you cruise through the whole content of this. This is where we go. Here we are. Here we are. This is the dispatch today, 9 July, Thursday. The dispatch, I showed you the slide. So this is the dispatch today. This is how it is going. And this is the complete commentary in text. This is the live feed which we are doing right now over here. Your daily brief, which talks about the main news in the happening in the world, India, business space, everything. You kind of so this is the daily brief. After that, then there is the market brief. The market brief talks on several areas. And after that, these are the major global indices snapshot, the global key metrics, the world key metrics, the commodity deep dive, of course, the digital assets deep dive. And then you have the India market key matrices. So that's what we're talking about. And then you have the business pulse. That's what we talked about. I showed you the business pulse also. And then we talk about the economic events and earnings which are going to make the impact today on the market. And then finally, we have the brokerage vantage point. That's a brokerage strategy. And solidly, we have something which is called the news wires. So these are the daily brief news wires. You can click these links and read them. So the moment you click or hit it on a Google, that's where it opens. So these are the daily brief. These are the market news wires. This is all about the market. These are the major global indices at a snapshot, which gives everything. 28 major global indices. Business news wires. This talks about the business news reported from across the world and key highlights. Then there is the world news wires, which is bifurcated geography. So what's happening in West Asia and Middle East, what's happening in Asia, excluding the West Asia, of course, what's happening in Russia and Ukraine, what's happening in Europe and North Atlantic, what's happening in United States. So these are the links. You can click them and read them. You can put them, you can put these links direct, you can put these headlines directly into Google and go from there. Then there are India news wires. It's talking about the news happening in India, what all has been reported from India. Then there are science and technology news where somebody is interested in science and technology news, what is happening. Clear, plain links. So you can just go and read there. The news wires, basically the tech news wires. This is talk about the technology segment, the phones, the gadgets, your cars, your automobiles, everything. Then there are entertainment news wires. So what's happening in the entertainment space across the world. So these are again the clickable links. You can just read them. And then there is, after entertainment, there's the sports news wire. If somebody is just interested in sports, they can go there. And after sports, there is health news wire. So you can take a call on the health, whatever you want to read, the pieces, everything which is given over there. And finally, after health, there are Gujarat news wires. So what's happening in the state of Gujarat, all those key important news developments. And then finally, the worldwide weather news wires. So this is in nutshell, this is, I would call it, in nutshell, I would call this is how we talk about the this is how we talk about the Dateline Gujarat Dispatch. So I'll stop sharing the screen. I'll be back on the screen. Here we go. And that was a wrap for the day. It has taken almost a little long today. It has been, I think it has been 37 minutes, but it was a mix of both markets and the mainstream news. So I mean the business and the mainstream news. And that's the reason it took almost 37, 38 minutes. So let's wrap it up now. Do keep on sharing your suggestions as to how we need to improve on this front. And I mean, whatever your criticism, your suggestions, you can put it as a comment, no doubt about that. And stay safe while you go out. It's raining, and stay happy, stay invested. Thank you. Wishing you a very happy and a good day ahead. Thank you.